basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. I am super excited to show y'all my meals today. I do have one new meal that I am trying, and then I'm also doing one repeat meal, and then we're also going to try to make Roy's light and fudgy brownies. So hopefully I can make those brownies good. And then the meal that I am making, hang on, let me grab the recipe. So the two meals that I'm making this week, one is going to be my chicken enchiladas, which is kind of the recipe that I kind of came up with from some different recipes. It's so good. I will make 6 enchiladas, one for each of us, because it is super filling. I have the chicken in the crock pot now, which you will see me putting that in first and before I go and get in the shower and everything. It's actually been in for, I don't know how long it's been in for. Maybe just a couple of hours, so it might still have a couple of hours left to go, but that is fine. I will do that kind of last if I need to. But the other meal that I'm making is a Skinnytaste recipe. It is a spicy whole wheat linguine with sausage and roasted peppers. Now, I'm not going to use whole wheat linguine. I'm going to use the Fiber Gourmet because I did order some of that using Roy's discount code that he has. Recipes with Roy 10 is his discount code if you want to go on Fiber Gourmet and order that. And I will leave the name of his channel and stuff here. It is Recipes with Roy. And this has hot Italian chicken sausage in it, so we've never used that before. I did get some of that at Publix in my grocery order yesterday, and some roasted red peppers and stuff, so it sounds pretty good. Her recipe calls for like crushed tomatoes. I did pick up some of the Rao's pasta sauce. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I need to plug this in before I make it and see kind of how the points come out. Her points that she has listed, if you make it exactly like she does it, is 9 points on the blue plan, 11 on green, and 4 on purple, because the whole wheat linguine would be 0 points on purple. So I don't know how much of the points of the Fiber Gourmet for like 6 servings and things like that. So I'm just going to have to play with the recipe. If I have additional points, I will use the pasta sauce. Otherwise, I will do it as she does, because it would be 0 points. Because we are going to pair this with some of the 2-ingredient garlic rolls. You know, we can't hardly have an Italian meal without those garlic rolls. And in fact, I think Charlie would like it if I made the garlic rolls every week. But and then, like I said, the chicken enchiladas, and then I have Roy's light and fudgy brownies printed out here, and I think that I have all of the ingredients for it. One thing I don't have is all-purpose flour, but we'll just use regular. I had a little mishap with my Publix order yesterday, and some things got left out and stuff, but yeah, I'm missing all-purpose flour. Unless Charlie runs to the store, he does need to go to TJ Maxx, and he might need to stop at the store and get me some of that, because I don't want to mess the recipe up. So anyway, that's what is on the menu for the day, and I really need to get started. So if you haven't already and you are new here, go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. I typically upload 3 times per week, sometimes 4. And also follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle for you here on the screen as well. And we have a really great Facebook group. Roy from Recipes with Roy, Bree from Balancing Life with Bree, and I all co-admin that group. It is called Finding Our Way. This is the icon for it. If you want to search it, there is a direct link to that Facebook group down in my description box. And as I always say, please be sure to check out the description box of not only my videos, but everyone else's videos. People always put all of the information. Most of your questions can be answered if you go to that description box. I always, in my meal prep videos, either link the recipes or I type out the recipes in the description box for you. There are links to my Amazon store if you want to pick up any of the products that I use. There's a link to Weight Watchers if you want to join Weight Watchers and get a free month. There's a link for my Fetch Rewards app. If you haven't heard of that, that's just a way to scan your receipts and get free gift cards. Highly recommend you do that. You get like 2,000 points if you use my code. There's a direct link for that down there. All kinds of things. And so most of your questions can be answered in the description box, and there is a little arrow. If you're on the phone, there's a little arrow and you can do the little drop down and then see more. And my description box, I mean, it'll hold 5,000 characters and I almost fill it up, especially on my meal prep videos, typing out recipes and stuff. But anyway, lots of great information in there for you, not only in my video but in everyone else's as well. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. Alrighty guys, we are ready to get started for our meal prep for the day. We kind of slept in this morning. It's already almost 11 o'clock and I'm fixing to just now get in the shower. Charlie actually doesn't have that much prep to do today since we were doing the chicken enchiladas. After I show this, I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken in the crock pot so that it can be cooking and be ready to use later. I think 4 hours on high will be good for it, and it'll definitely be 2 or 3 o'clock before I get to that point. Because y'all know I'm just a slow moving, but anywho, we have Mr. Nico up here. Say good morning to everybody. He's checking out the food. Does it pass your inspections, Nico? Does it pass your inspection? Okay, so I have like the tiniest little pineapple this week. Look how cute this thing was. This was like $3.50 or something at Publix. I love that. And an equally tiny cantaloupe this week, but oh, Charlie, here, pull out the watermelon. Let me show how much watermelon we got from yesterday. I did add a mini seedless watermelon just because I thought, you know, watermelon might be gone. Here, you don't have to set it down here, but Charlie went ahead and cut the watermelon yesterday because Athena wanted watermelon with her lunch. And we did as well. And the watermelon's actually really sweet. You can go ahead and put it back up. I just wanted to show. So I have all of this watermelon. So I'm just going to use that as filler for my fruit containers this week. Stop it, Nico. No, Charlie's eating it. It's good, isn't it? It's a good sweet one. I actually meant to send some home with Athena when her mom picked her up yesterday because she loves watermelon. And I love that she loves things like that. And I meant to send a little container home. I forgot about it. But anyway. I will wash my blueberries in the vinegar water as usual. And then Charlie just has my 3 peppers for my diced peppers for my pizzas and my eggs. And my tomato to slice for my sandwiches. And I think that's it. I got the crock pot ready and the Frontera salsa. I'm going to put the chicken breast on and then I'm going to jump in the shower. So that is the plan. Nico's going to lay on all of the food. Check it out. Lick it all that stuff. Are you sanitizing it for me, Nico? Huh? Nico's so funny, y'all. If you haven't watched my grocery haul video yet from yesterday, he was the same way last night because I did a little TJ Maxx haul and he had to get all over the clothes, all over the stuff. He just loves stuff. He just loves anything that we have on this counter. He thinks it's his. Huh? Do you think it's yours? Do you rule the house? Okay. Enough of Nico. Let's put some chicken in the crock pot and get busy because we are so behind. Normally I'm already out of the shower by this time. But you know what? It is what it is and we're just going to deal with it today. I don't think my meals are going to be too difficult. I don't know. My other one is a pasta meal with some chicken sausage that I've never worked with. So we shall see when we get to it. Alright, I'm ready to put this chicken in the crock pot. I'm just going to spray it. And then I'm using some frozen chicken breasts that we've had in the freezer. I've just kind of been defrosting them in some hot water over here. Okay, got my chicken in there. Washed my hands. Now we are just going to salt and pepper. And this is for the chicken enchiladas. You can use however many chicken breasts you want. For some reason, 3 just seems to be my magic number. I just always think that 3 is good for any crock pot meal for 6 servings. Because, number 1, chicken is 0 on the blue plan, so I really don't measure it out. Number 2, you know, a lot of extra protein is good for you. So, the rest of the meal, there won't be really any other protein in the chicken enchiladas. You know, I'm just going to have cauliflower rice with it, and then it'll be in a wrap. So, salt and pepper, and then my favorite salsa to use on this is this Frontera cilantro jalapeno salsa. And I think this is delicious. All I'm going to do is pour this over it and turn the crock pot on for at least 4 hours. I should have put this on earlier. I actually forgot about it, per usual, because I woke up late, was talking on the phone, all of that good stuff that I like to do. So there we go. We're gonna pop the lid on her. I'm just gonna set it on 8 hours just so that it doesn't cut off or anything. And so I will do my other meal and some other things before I get to this so that the chicken will be nice and done. You know, I like everything well done. I want it to shred like butter once I get to it. So there we go. Now we're gonna hit the shower and we will roll into Charlie's prep now.
Keep thinking that I could have done something, but now I'm left with an empty heart. No making amends, no waking up beside you and holding you till we forget it all. Oh, baby, how could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. You couldn't keep the door shut, and now the frostbite's creeping in. Stone cold since you left me here, so come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold. Wizard of Oz can't undo what I've done. Completely out of luck this time. I'm stuck in reverse. I gotta get.
Hey everyone, I have my pineapple, my cantaloupe, and my blueberries, and then I also have watermelon today because it just looked good and I figured I would pick one up, and I'm glad that I did because my pineapple is kind of a little bit sad. It was a tiny little pineapple. So yeah, I've got 4 different fruits this week. The watermelon is actually really sweet, and the cantaloupe actually has flavor this week. The one I got last week did not. But anywho, let's go ahead and throw these together real quick and get to cooking.
You got that something, baby, that I can go without, just like a poison in me. You're all that I'm about. Loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I want that something, baby, 'cause I can go without. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I lose my mind if you don't get his suit. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough. Can't say I'm hurting, baby, but I don't feel too good. It's like I'm burning lately when you're not in my blood. Loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out.
Alright everyone, here are the completed fruit bowls. I have 7 containers of fruit, yogurt. This is the tomato that Charlie sliced for me for my sandwiches, and then the diced peppers for my pizzas and scrambled eggs and stuff this week. Which I am going to do eggs and bacon every day this week and no smoothies. Number 1, I forgot to pick up any kale. And number 2, I prefer the bacon and eggs. So I'm just going to kind of go back to basics this week. So anywho, going to make my eggs and everything just like I normally do for 5 days later. And yeah, so let's get to cooking this linguine and chicken sausage. Okay, I am finally ready to start on the linguine with sausage and roasted red peppers, and I have played around with the recipe some to see if I could lower the points, and I've gotten it to 6 points the way that I'm going to make it. And I didn't realize that the crushed tomatoes, and maybe it's just this Publix brand, but these do have points in them. So what I'm going to do is I have a pound basically of the hot Italian chicken sausage, which that comes out to, for that, so it's 13 points for 5 links. Here's the nutrition facts. So 1 link has 120 calories. So that's going to be quite a bit of points. And then I'm going to do 10 ounces of the Fiber Gourmet linguine. And 10 ounces of the linguine is actually 18 points. So that's basically 3 points per serving, because we are going to do 6 servings. The chicken broth is 0. The minced garlic is 0. I'm going to do just 2 tablespoons, or 2.5 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese, which is only 3 points that it's going to add. The tomato sauce is 0, so I'm going to do a can of tomato sauce and 1 cup of crushed tomatoes, where this calls for like 1.8 cups of crushed tomatoes for the 6 servings. I'm going to do this whole jar of the roasted red peppers. This is 0 points. So all in all, it's going to end up to be a 6-point meal. Now, she does not have any other seasonings and stuff on here other than salt and pepper. I am going to add some Italian seasonings and stuff, because I'm afraid that it's going to be too tomatoey, not having any Italian seasoning and stuff in that. So I will add that as well, which won't add any points. But I kind of made my little notes on there so that if I like this recipe, I can just pull this back out and remember what I did. So her way, if you make it, is 9 points on the blue plan, 11 points on the green plan, and 4 points on the purple plan. But with my modifications, I've got it down to 6 points. So anyway, I'm going to start getting everything together. We need to brown up the sausage first. She does call for some olive oil. I'm not going to use that. I will just use my olive oil spray, because she also has onions and stuff that you're supposed to brown. And y'all know I always leave out the onions, because we just don't necessarily like onions that much. Occasionally I will use them, but not all the time. So I don't really have to brown the onions in oil or anything, so I'm just going to use my olive oil spray. So anyway, my battery's going to die. I'm going to swap this out and we're going to get started. All right, we are ready to get started here. I've got a pot of water started. This thing takes a while to heat the water up, but once it gets to going, I mean, it really cooks the pasta really well. So I'm just going to let that heat while I get the sausage and everything else browned. Now, this sausage did come in like the little casings, which Charlie went ahead and removed that for me. I think he videoed it. I'm not 100% sure. We will see once I edit. But you do need to remove it from the casing. He's just sweet and went ahead and did that for me. I didn't put that up there as part of his stuff to prep, but he just went ahead and did it. So we will let that get warm. I'm going to get a spatula and stuff, and we will get that to browning. So pretty much what we're going to do is brown the sausage and set it to the side, and then we are going to add in the roasted red peppers and the other ingredients and stuff, and then blend it all back together. So let me get the sausage browning, and then I'm going to go ahead and like open up my chicken broth and my tomato sauce and my crushed tomatoes and everything and start getting that measured out. All right, we are back finally. I got the chicken sausage out of the skillet just now. I had to dice up the red peppers. I didn't realize that they had to be diced up, so I don't have everything open yet, but we are going to go ahead and get started cooking the red peppers and the garlic. I had to set this to the side because I had to dice up those red peppers. Anyway, at this point she says to add the oil, which I just did the spray, the onions, which I'm leaving out, the roasted peppers, which is here, and the garlic, which is about 3.5 cloves. So I'm just going to do like 3 heaping teaspoons. And then you're going to just cook this for a few minutes until it's nice and brown. You don't want to burn your garlic, for sure. And then the salt and pepper, which she doesn't say how much, so we're just going to sprinkle some on there. Actually, I asked Charlie to fill this up and he didn't. We're almost out of pepper in here. So we're just gonna let this warm and brown. My water is ready for my linguine, but I don't know if I'm ready to add it yet. Let's see how long I have to cook this. 6 to 10 minutes or to desired texture. So I'm probably gonna cook it for 7 minutes. So I'm gonna wait a little bit before I actually add it to the water. I'm gonna let this heat up good. And then we're gonna add the crushed tomatoes, the tomato sauce, the chicken broth, and then put the sausage back in there and then let that simmer for 15 minutes. While that's going, that's when I will add the linguine to the pot. Okay, so I think that we are ready to go in with the tomato sauce. Now, I have just put some oregano, some Italian seasoning, and some basil in here. I was going to mix it up, but I'm just going to mix it up in the pan. I didn't really measure it. I just probably did like a tablespoon or 2 of each just to give it a little flavor because those are plain. And then it's about half a cup of chicken broth. I'm not going to perfectly measure that. And then we're going to put the chicken sausage back in and then let this simmer for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to put the pasta in. And I'm going to turn the heat up because we need to bring this to a boil and let it simmer for 15 minutes. For the linguine, I just took 2 ounces out of the other pack and put in here, so I have this 10 ounces already measured out and ready to dump into the water. It's kind of lost a little bit of its boil. I'm going to put the lid back on that. And I'm probably going to put a lid on this too so it doesn't splatter on me. Do a little quick cleanup and then we will be ready to put the linguine in. I'm going to cook it for 7 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put our linguine in. We're boiling really good. I like how this pasta is kind of folded up like this. It makes it easier to get it in the water. I've never used the Fiber Gourmet before. And I did salt my water, so it would give it a little bit of flavor in the pasta. So basically we're going to bring this to a boil and cook it for about 7 minutes. And then we will put it back in with the chicken sausage and tomatoes over here. And top it with some Parmesan cheese, and then I think this will be ready. Again, this will come out to 6 points the way that I'm making it, and I will have garlic rolls with it. Y'all know I always like to do 18 of them so that we get 3 of them each night, so it will end up to be a 9-point dinner. So I think that's pretty good for a pasta dish with some rolls. Like I always say, I like for this to fit my lifestyle, to fit what I want. You know, Charlie and I always talk about what we're kind of craving for the week, if anything, and you know, what kind of meals we want. We're probably going to want an Asian meal here next weekend or so. We'll see. But, you know, we like Italian, Mexican, Asian. If you can tell, we like all kinds. So, I'll be back once we get ready to put the pasta in here. This all just has to simmer for the moment. Okay, so I think that our pasta is about done. And we're going to add it into the tomato sauce here, and then we're going to top it with some Parmesan cheese. Now hers specifically calls for Pecorino Romano, which I did not buy that. I'm using the Kroger brand Parmesan cheese, if I can get it in here without making a mess. And then it's going to just cook basically for another few minutes and it will be done. So fairly easy dish. I think I could make it lower in points if I used like some diced tomatoes instead of like the crushed tomatoes. There's always ways to make things lower in points. I just, for some reason, thought that the crushed tomatoes were 0, and maybe it's just not the Publix ones. So I didn't think anything about it. Alright, I think I got all that out. We're just going to mix this in and top it with our 2½ tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. And then I think my chicken is going to be ready to shred up. I'm just going to kind of set this to the side and just let it sit for a little bit, and then we will plate it up. Maybe after I put the chicken enchiladas in the oven. I don't know, we'll see. So this is the Parmesan cheese. Oh, sorry, I can't even see that well. This is the Parmesan cheese that I'm going to use, and I'm going to do 2½ tablespoons. And I'm just going to sprinkle that around there. 1, 2½ I hope this tastes as good as this smells. I have not tasted this yet. I will do a little taste test before I plate it up, but it's a little hot. But I feel like that hot Italian chicken sausage and the roasted red peppers is going to give it a really good flavor. I have yet to make a Skinnytaste recipe that I did not like. Some of hers I do modify to make them lower in points, especially like these Italian dishes, but they're all delicious. Okay, so this is pretty much done. I'm going to just kind of set it to the side. I'm going to let it cook for just a couple more minutes on the stove, and then we will plate it up here in a little bit. Okay, here is our chicken. I think that it is about done. It has been in here for 4 hours and 20 minutes now. Look at that. Can you see that? Perfect. I can just barely touch it and it's shredding up like butter. That's what I want. Easiest way to make chicken. If y'all just want to like throw some chicken breast in and salt and pepper it just to have some plain chicken. So a lot of people do that if you don't want to do like a huge meal prep, just to have some chicken prepped for the week. You can throw it on salads, you can make wraps with it, you can put different sauces on it and give it different flavors. I see a lot of people online doing that. You know, I've just made chicken breast before like this, just plain with just a few little seasonings, and made chicken salads. So easy. So I'm going to get this shredded up and get everything set out so that I can put together the chicken enchiladas. I think I need a can of corn, a can of black beans, some Laughing Cow cheese wedges. I have to actually pull up my recipe from the last time that I made it and see what all I used. And I need to get that recipe typed up and put out on the Facebook page. I don't think I've done that one yet. So yeah, basically I'm just going to take this chicken and use this in the skillet and heat it up until basically the cheese and stuff is melted, and then I will have my mixture for the chicken enchiladas. And these are super filling. The first time I made it to where Charlie and I each had 2 chicken enchiladas. We could barely eat it. But I prefer to just have one and then make a side of the cauliflower rice, and then I have 1 chicken enchilada, and then with the cauliflower Spanish rice and 1 bag of my baked potatoes. Oh shoot, I hit that crock pot, it's hot. Alright, so let me get this completely shredded up, and then we will be ready to put the mixture together in the skillet. Alright, we are ready to get started on the chicken enchilada mixture. I'm just going to do a little light coating of olive oil spray so that we don't stick. And we are going to add in all of the shredded chicken, which is very tasty, by the way, just by itself. We're going to add in 1 packet of the Frontera enchilada sauce. Ah, that got all over my arm. Oh well. You got to watch this sauce, I'm telling you. Opening these packets sometimes you get splattered. I don't think it got on my shirt. Charlie's helping set up all of the stuff to assemble the enchiladas because I'm feeling behind a little bit today. Then we're going to add in the can of drained and rinsed corn and black beans. I have those here together. We're going to add in the diced green chilies. We're going to go ahead and add in all 4 of these cheese wedges. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Give it a quick little stir here. It's starting to heat up now. And we're going to do the juice of the lime. I have gotten also to where I really like the lime juice in these Mexican dishes. It does give it a nice little flavor. It's subtle, but you can taste the difference. And the fresh cilantro. And then basically I'm just going to heat this up until the cheese is nice and melted and everything has had a chance to blend together well. And then we will be ready to assemble the enchiladas. Once we get those in the oven, then we're going to plate up our spaghetti and roll out our garlic rolls and get those ready to go in the oven once these are done. Oh, I also need to do my cauliflower rice. I'll do that after I get these in the oven. I can't have too many things going at one time. Okay, so let me get this melted, and then once we get ready to assemble, I will be back. Alright guys, Charlie is going to portion out the linguine. How's it taste?
Delicious.
It is delicious, isn't it? So, he is going to kind of eyeball it and then kind of weigh, I guess, to see where he's at. is the completed linguine with hot chicken sausage and roasted peppers. And what we have tasted so far, it is very good. Charlie went ahead and portioned this out for me. It's pretty much as evenly as possible. There's about 350 grams in each one, roughly. And this comes out to 6 points per serving. So we're going to go ahead and put those away, and I am ready to assemble the chicken enchiladas now. Okay, I'm ready to assemble the chicken enchiladas. I kind of have my mixture down here at the end, and then I was just going to go over the ingredients. So obviously we have our chicken mixture that we just heated up in. I have another packet of the enchilada sauce. I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom, and then we're going to fill each wrap. I'm going to do 3 Olay Extreme Wellness wraps for me, and then Charlie has his, what is your brand, La Banderita or whatever that he likes, his flour tortillas, and then I have half a cup of Mexican blend cheese, and then half a cup of the fat-free mozzarella cheese. So we're going to tilt you down here, and we are going to put these together. See what you can see here. Oh, do I need to use that before I open this one?
Use this one first, this one.
I'll take that one. Make sure it's closed. I left it open so I could just pull them out. Alright, so I got my little sauce open. We're just going to drizzle a little bit in the bottom. And then I'm going to do 3 for Charlie and 3 for me. We'll be able to tell them apart, I think, by the way they look. The last time he had really big tortillas, and we could easily tell them apart. This time they're going to be about the same size, so we may have to mark the pan or something so we know which side is which. But anyway, I don't know if I'm going to use this whole chicken mixture because this is actually quite a bit. We shall see here. We're going to stuff them pretty full since we're only getting 1 each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see if I can see a little better. There we go. So we got 1 in there. Woohoo! These are actually not hard to make. It is just slightly time consuming because of the different steps that you take. Cooking the chicken in the crock pot. But then once that's done, I mean, it's really just throwing everything together in the skillet until that Laughing Cow cheese melts. Then you're good to go.
I got an ache inside of me. It's a deep hole where I bleed. Oh, can I seal it? You're like an ocean without land. Not a single grain of sand. I'm drifting on it. So cold, yet warm. When you hold me, when you close.
So there's going to be quite a bit of mixture left over. I'm just going to save it because Charlie's not working again this week. He can make himself some like quesadillas or wraps or something. I kind of got him on that last week with our chicken burrito bowls. I basically forced him to let me make him one, and then he likes them. So I've won him over. It's great to just like dry toast those tortillas. They're good. Okay, so now we have these ready. All we have to do is top with the shredded cheese. I'm just gonna do the fat-free mozzarella. A little bit of that. A little bit of the Mexican blend cheese. And then the rest of the mozzarella, just to kind of mix them up a little bit. And we did measure these out. It's 56 grams of each. And then we're going to pour the rest of the enchilada sauce on there. And we are going to put them in the oven for 20 minutes, 400 degrees. And we are going to cover it with aluminum foil. Okay, I'm going to put these in for 20 minutes, and then we are going to go ahead and probably do the cauliflower rice. And then all I will have to do is the garlic rolls and my brownies. So making progress. So 20 minutes, 400 degrees. Okay, for the cauliflower rice, I'm gonna do 2 bags of this Green Giant cauliflower medley. I have already kind of broken this up so that it's not in one frozen chunk. And basically, I'm going to put it in and let it kind of defrost. And then we're going to come in and add in 2 cans of Rotel and some other seasonings. But for the time being, we're just going to put both of them in. And add some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to do, once it's de-thawed, I'm going to add a can of fire roasted Rotel, a can of original Rotel, some ground cumin, chili powder, and probably some fajita seasoning. And basically then I'm just going to cook it until all of the moisture is pretty much dissipated. And it looks like rice and you can't really tell that it's cauliflower at all. It tastes pretty good. So I will be back. I'm going to put the lid on this. Let me stir it up. Alright, just turn it down a little. I'm going to put the lid on this just until it is softened up. And then we will be back with the Rotel and the seasonings. Okay, so I am back. The cauliflower is nice and softened up. Turn the heat down a little bit and we are going to go in with 1 can of a fire roasted Rotel. Again, if you didn't want this as spicy, then you could use just original or mild. And then 1 can of original Rotel. Y'all know we like everything extra spicy. And we're just going to go in with some of my favorite ground cumin. And on this part, I just seasoned to taste. I would say at least like a tablespoon or so. Or more. If you get it too spicy, it is hard to eat, but we still eat it. Because it's happened. One time I got the Rotel with the habanero chilies in it. That one's hot, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, it's good.
It was hot though. I put some chili powder in, and then I'm going to use some of this fajita seasoning. I think it gives it a good flavor as well. And basically, I'm not going to put the lid back on. I'm going to just mix this up. And then once the liquid dissipates, it is pretty much done. And I promise you, if you don't like cauliflower, if you season it up well enough, you cannot tell that it is cauliflower. So that is the trick that I have learned in making this and in making the fried rice version. It's good. So this will probably have to cook for, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes or so, I would say, until the water is gone. I'm going to probably turn the heat back up now that I added those liquids. Get it cooking again. I'll do a little taste test here in a minute and make sure that it's spicy enough. If it's too spicy, then oh well, we'll eat it real spicy. And that's it. That's how you make Spanish cauliflower rice. Super easy. Okay, here are the completed chicken enchiladas. These 3 over here are mine. These 3 are Charlie's. We can tell them apart just by the way the wraps look. So I don't think that will be an issue. And then I just went ahead and divided the cauliflower rice into these 6 containers because I'm just going to leave these in this casserole dish, and then we will just take one out each night whenever we eat it. Mostly because I don't have a container large enough to like plate these up together, so that's just the way that it works best. And then we can just take one out, heat it up, and then heat up our cauliflower rice, and then we will be good to go. But this turned out nice and spicy, nice and delicious. And yeah, highly recommend. This is 0 points, and I think my chicken enchiladas come out to 3 or 4 points each. I will have to double check that, but I will have the recipe and everything down in the description box. I think it's 4 points, but of course I didn't use all of the chicken mixture, but anyway, I think 4 points is what it is, but everything will be down in the description box below. I will have the recipe typed out for you. All right, we are ready to make the 3 ingredient garlic rolls really. So I'm gonna make 18 rolls. I don't know why my camera's not wanting to focus. It never does at this angle. So I have 1.5 cups of White Lily self-rising flour in there. And then I'm gonna do 1 cup of the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt. It's the one I always use. You can use any brand, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, which I'm going to go ahead and mix in with my flour so that it is mixed well before I add in the yogurt. So we're going to do 2 good heaping tablespoons of garlic powder in here. Oh, and I have my oven preheating to 350. You just want to mix that so that it is nice and blended. Just disperses the garlic through the flour well. Then we're just going to go in with our 1 cup of yogurt. And you are going to have to get your hands messy in this one. I took my rings and stuff off because we are going to have to knead this and then roll them out. So I'm just going to stir it up until it's nice and crumbly, and then we will go in with our hands and form it into a nice dough ball. Okay, that's probably as good as it's going to get. We're going to get messy now, so we're just going to knead this until it is nice and formed into a dough ball, and then we're going to weigh it out. That way I can tell how many grams each roll needs to be. The first time or two that you work with this kind of dough, it is really sticky and kind of hard to work with, but after you do it a couple of times, you do kind of get used to it. The first time I made these, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is horrible, it takes forever, but now I've kind of got it down pat. It is sticky, but I use my butter spray on my hands, and that is the trick to it not sticking as much. I'm going to wash my hands real quick, and then we will weigh it out and get these rolled out. Okay, so we are going to weigh this out in grams. So I'm just going to put this little plate on here. See how many grams we get. Of course, it's super sticky. So we have 544 grams, and we want 18 rolls. I'm going to have to use my other hand. 544 divided by 18 is 30 grams each, pretty much. 30.22222. So that's how I determine how many grams something's going to be. I don't know if that will focus. Probably not. There we go. So we're going to do 30 grams on each roll, you know, give or take a little bit. And that is the easiest way that I've always figured out how to calculate the grams that you need. So we are going to use butter spray. We're going to use it on our hands as well. I'm going to go ahead and spray the pan with butter spray. And then I'm also going to spray my hands with it. And that is the trick to it not sticking to you as much. See, I had some stuck on my fingers just from picking it up. So we're going to tear it out, and we're going to take it off until it is negative 30. There we go. Negative 30 exactly. And so we're just going to do that until we have 18 rolls. Of them rolled out. Now we are just going to take the butter spray and we're going to spray the tops really well. And then we are going to go in with garlic salt on top of them, a generous little portion there to give them that good garlicky flavor. That one's empty. I do have another one ready to go. So there we go. They're going to go in for 12 minutes, 350 degrees. Then I will move them to the top rack to brown the tops of them just for a minute or two on broil. Okay, here are the garlic rolls fresh out of the oven. They are nice and browned on both sides. Smelling delicious. So delicious. Highly recommend y'all try these if you haven't yet. It is worth it. Try them. 1 point each roll. Alrighty, I'm going to make a ginger water. This is by Charlene Johnson, I think. Basically, this is just kind of a to boost your metabolism, to detox you. I've been feeling pretty bloated lately, and I have made this. It's been a long time since I have made it, but basically I've got 3 cups of water in the blender here, and then I have some more water in this pitcher. This is going to kind of make like a concentrated version, and I'm going to strain it into the plain water in there. So it calls for a few pieces of fresh ginger, which I have peeled some fresh ginger and cut it up, and then a couple of drops of stevia, which I don't have any stevia, so I'm just going to leave that out. Normally I just drink plain lemon water anyway. This is just to give it a little bit of extra something. A dash of cayenne pepper, and then the juice of 2 large lemons, which I have 1 large lemon and I kind of have 2 smaller ones, so I'm just going to use all 3 of these. And basically we're just going to put it in the blender, blend it up well, and then strain it over the other water that I've got there. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my ginger and a dash of cayenne pepper, so I guess just however much you think a dash is. You don't want it too spicy, although I like spicy, but this is water, so this big lemon's going to be hard for me to squeeze in here. I need to raise y'all up too, don't I? So y'all can see what I'm doing. I suppose I could have just used my lemon juice as well, but I had Charlie pick this up for me the other day because I was going to make it Thursday night, and then I just never got around to it. So I'm going to get all of the lemon in there, and then we're going to blend it up for a few minutes, and then we're going to strain it into the pitcher of water. A seed went in. Alright, so I have everything in here. 3 cups of water, a few chunks of ginger, some cayenne pepper, and the juice of those 3 lemons. I did get a seed in there, so Charlie and I had to pour it out basically to get that seed out, dang it. But anywho, so now I'm just going to blend this on high, and then we are going to strain it into this pitcher of water here. Alright, I have to say I love this Ninja blender so far. It really blends up my smoothies and everything really well, but I've not made this drink with it, so we shall see, but we are straining it regardless. So I am going to, one thing I like about it is it just has this little spout over here, so I don't even have to take the lid off, and we are going to just strain it right into, and I didn't really know how much water to put in the pitcher. I'm hoping I left enough room. And this is what I'm going to take in my iron flask this week and just see how I like it. I can't remember. I have made this 1 or 2 other times before. But whenever I started my period the other day, which I know a lot of y'all probably are like, gross, but it's life, I have been super bloated ever since then and cannot seem to get rid of it. So that's what made me think about this drink. So there we go. That's all there is to it. And now I will just have my little drink. If it's too strong, then I will just mix it with some water. If I can't drink it plain, I'm going to try some of it tonight to see if I need to, you know, tone it down a little bit and just mix it with some plain water. But lemon, ginger, cayenne pepper. She does call for some stevia drops. I don't have any of those, so I'm just going to leave that out. And yeah, now let's make some brownies. Okay guys, I am going to make Roy's Light and Fudgy Brownies. This is going to be a quick little run through of it. If you want to see the detailed recipe and how to probably properly make it, go to his channel, Recipes with Roy, and I will have this video of his linked down below because it is getting late and I need to get this in the oven, so we are going to breeze through it as fast as I can. So basically, we have the oven preheated at 350 and we need 3/4 of a cup of canned pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling, 100% pumpkin. This almost looks like a cup, but it's because I had some left over from where I made the cookies last week, so I'm just going to use the rest of it. It's a little under a cup. 1/4 of a cup of unsweetened almond milk. I'm going to use my Cauliflower Farms unsweetened vanilla almond milk. 1/4 of a cup of sugar-free chocolate syrup. I got this Hershey's 0 sugar added the other day. I don't know what that tastes like. I'm going to use 1 cup of granulated sugar replacement, so I have the Swerve, and then 1/2 cup of the Swerve brown sugar replacement. 3 eggs at room temperature. They're still on the cold side, but we have went ahead and cracked those into this little bowl. They are ready to go. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Where's my vanilla extract?
In the bag.
2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, 1 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. I am just going to use the regular, not the dark chocolate. I picked up a regular for this. 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So I'm going to use this white lily flour. A teaspoon of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. So we are going to throw this together real quick. So we are going to put the cocoa powder, the flour, the salt, and the baking powder in a bowl together and set aside. So for the cocoa powder, I need 1 cup. Charlie's going to assist me here. So we're going to go in with 1 cup of cocoa powder. Also 1 cup of flour. Teaspoon of salt. There we go. 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Now he says to whisk these together and set aside, I guess, and then we will mix the wet ingredients in another bowl. I'm going to use this whisk, y'all. It's a carrot whisk, and actually Roy sent me this whisk for Easter. Isn't that cute? Hopefully I don't make a mess with this cocoa powder. Lots of times, even after making cookies, we'll wipe this counter off and the paper towels will be brown because you can't see it necessarily. I typically don't use a whisk. If y'all have noticed, I always use like a fork or a spoon. See, I'm not a true baker like Roy is. That's why you should go watch his video to do it exactly right. Okay, so I have these whisked together. Let me make sure I have everything. Cocoa powder, flour, salt, and baking powder. Set aside. In this bowl, we are going to put the pumpkin. So I'm going to do 1/4 of a cup of the unsweetened almond milk. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with 1/4 of a cup of the 0 sugar chocolate syrup. I wonder what this tastes like. I haven't tasted this one. It's not bad. The sugar-free one I've tried before, like putting it on top of something, and I did not like that one. I think he says to whisk this together, but I'm just going to stir it together. I know these brownies have to turn out better than my other recipe, y'all. Okay, now we are going to whisk in these sugar replacements. So this is the Swerve granular sugar replacement. And I'm just going to stir it. Charlie's measuring these out for me. Here's the brown sugar replacement. And we're just going to get this mixed well. And sometimes if I feel like the chunks of like that brown sugar, I'll just kind of scrape against the sides of the bowl to break them up. Then we're going to go in with our eggs. So I got the eggs mixed in. I'm going to do the 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So now I'm just going to mix this until it's well combined, and then I'm going to put the cocoa powder mixture in. I'm going to kind of fold it in. He says with a rubber spatula or a wooden spoon. I do have a rubber spatula I'll use, even though I didn't use the whisk on the other part. I used a spoon, but I think it's mixed well. So we're going to take this, and I'm just going to kind of slowly pour it and stir at the same time. You just don't want to over mix it, I think he said. And then after this, it will be ready to go into the pan. Roy's probably going to cringe whenever he watches me make this, y'all. But I can already tell just by looking at this one and even smelling it, it's going to turn out well. I knew the other one was going to be trash when I was making it. Okay, so I think that I have the mixture pretty well mixed up now. I don't want to over mix it. And this is going to make 9 servings, and they're going to come out to, what is it, 2 points, or 2 bites. He does I-track bites, but it's 2 points on the blue plan, and it makes 9 servings. So we will cut this into 9. So I'm going to spray my dish here really well with this baking spray. You can make a sling with aluminum foil or parchment paper if you want to. But I like that crispiness of the brownies that kind of gets stuck to the side of the container too. So that's why I'm not going to make a sling. Okay, there we go. We're going in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. The batter tastes good. Alrighty everyone, we have finished the meal prep for the day finally. This one has been a long day. It is actually 7 p.m. I know I got started late, but we are wrapping this up super late. Over here I have my 7 containers of fruit and my 7 yogurts. We have our chicken enchiladas with our Spanish cauliflower rice. I have Roy's light and fudgy brownies. We literally just pulled those out of the oven. They have to set for at least a half hour before cutting, so I have not had a chance to try them. You will have to watch my weekly vlog to see how those turned out, but I am sure they're going to be excellent. This is the Skinnytaste linguine with hot Italian chicken sausage and roasted red peppers in it. It is delicious. We did do a little taste test of that, and then along with that we will have our garlic rolls that we love. And then I went ahead and made my breakfast for the week. I went ahead and made it for 5 days. I don't have the stuff for my smoothies this week, and I prefer the bacon and eggs. So this week is kind of a going back to basic week for me. I also made that lemon ginger water. We did not pull that out and put it on the counter, but I got that made as well this week. So I'm hoping for a nice, successful week. This is the only way that I can really stick to the plan, is by prepping everything ahead of time and having it ready to go. It makes my life so much easier. And again, I have completed another successful meal prep. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for another meal prep video. I think this is going to be a great week. Both of these recipes I think have turned out great. I think the brownies are going to be excellent this week. We tasted the batter. We have not tasted the brownies yet, but they are Roy's recipe, so I know that it's going to be fabulous. And again, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. We got a lot done today. It seemed like it took me forever. This has been a long one, and I'm ready to put this away and relax for a little bit. And I love you guys. Thank you. If you stuck with me all the way to the end, you know what to do. Go ahead and like, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks guys. Love y'all.